Well, this week's Hot Fudge Sunday is step number 7. Step number 7 is the step that says, I will daily spend time in self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer so that I can know God's will. It is one of those steps that talks about devotion to our relationship with God. And not just a devotion meaning I'm going to go to church, but a devotion meaning that every day I'm going to spend time. And it's something that we take for granted, I think. Many times we don't think about our relationship with God. We don't think about spending time with God. And many times we forget to do it. I'm married. I've been married to my wife for 24 years now. And if I neglected to go a day where I didn't spend time with her, there would be a price to pay. She would let me know about it. And I wouldn't even consider it. I don't think I'd even consider spending time or an entire day where I don't have a relationship with my wife. But yet we do it with God all the time. And it's not that we're mean people. It's not that we're meaning to do it. It's not that, we wake up in the morning and say, well, I don't want to spend time with God. But we do that. When things are going well, especially in our life, we will end up spending a day, a week, a month, and we never read the Bible. We don't pray. We don't talk to God. It's the relationship just seems to kind of go by the wayside. And then all of a sudden something bad happens, and whammo, we immediately cry out to God, and we immediately go to God, and we immediately say, what's going on? Why aren't you helping me? Where are you? And step number 7 is about making deposits. It's about making deposits into our account in our relationship with God. And it's important for us to make deposits when life is going well. For when life goes bad or goes south, then that's too late. If we haven't made any deposits, we're basically, in essence, writing a blank check, or a check that's going to bounce, basically. And we don't want to do that. We want to start building that relationship up with God every single day, even when things are going well. And we have a tendency not to do that. We have a tendency to forget about God until things get tough. And so step number 7 is about daily spending time with God for self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer. It's about the desire to know God and to know God's will for our life. And then to get the power, to access the power to live out that will, to follow that will. And that's step number 7. And it's hard for each one of us because of the fact that, we're busy. We've got things going on in our lives. We got our families, we got stress, we got all those things. And pretty soon, we come up with excuses. Well, I'll pray tomorrow, I'll read tomorrow, or I'll worship tomorrow. And tomorrow turns into tomorrow, which turns into tomorrow, which turns into a week, which turns into a month, which turns into a year. And we neglect our relationship with God. And so the step number 7 on the journey to be is to daily make that commitment to say, I'm going to spend time with God. I'm going to spend time with God in some way, shape, or form. I'm going to read a Bible verse. I'm going to read a chapter. I'm going to read a story. I'm going to spend some time in prayer where I have a relationship. I have a conversation with God. And remember, we're going to listen twice as much as we speak, step number 6. All of those things go into the concept of step number 7. And again, like all the other steps, step number 7 is not a once and done proposition. This is a daily activity. And many times in our life, we have to be reminded of this daily activity because we forget, because things start going well and we forget about it. And we got to continually make those deposits into our relationship with God, because there's going to come a day when we're going to need to make a withdrawal. Being a follower of Jesus doesn't mean that bad things won't happen. Life still happens. That's an aspect of step number 7, is that we can't control the cards that we're dealt in life. All we can control is our attitude. All we can control is how we're going to deal with those situations in life. And if we're not making deposits into our relationship with God when that stuff happens, then we've got nothing to withdraw. We've got nothing to pull from. And then that's where we lose peace. That's where we lose our ability to keep it together in the midst of tough times. And step number 5 is about that, because tough times are going to come. If you're not experiencing tough times now, you're going to experience tough times in the future. And when those times come, you've got to have something to draw from. You've got to have some reserves built up in your relationship with God so you can have that peace, you can have that understanding. So that's a big part of step number 7. So next week we're going to be looking at step number 8, the final step in the journey to be. So don't miss that. Between now and then, if you are up north, we hope that you have received your packet of information about our September 27th, I think it is. It's either 24th or 27th. I could be wrong on those dates. Congregational meeting, and that is going to be a meeting. It's the congregation is going to vote whether or not we stay here or sell the building. The recommendation is going to be that we sell the building and we move to a new location and design a new ministry and we become a new church. That's something that we're asking everyone to pray about. So if you haven't received your packet of information about that and you're a member of this church and you live up north, then call the church office and let us know. We'll get one out to you. We've got some time yet. And be expecting a phone call. Be expecting a phone call to say, have you read it? And do you have any questions? I think that's it. I think that's it for this week's Hot Fudge Sunday. Step number 7. Step number 7 is, don't forget this. It is that daily you will spend time in self-examination, Bible reading, and prayer so that you can know the will of God and you can gain the power to follow that will. So come back next week for step number 8. And between now and then, I pray that this week has a great you.